Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Arc Raiders. Today we're talking weapons and attachments and how this affects things. And through that, what is the actual best weapon for specific purposes at different upgrade levels, with or without mods, that kind of thing. This comes from my experience alongside the raw stats like time to kill and damage values for each gun. Keep in mind though, this is not a tier list, more of a fun look at how upgrades and attachments really change a weapon, and what needs attachments versus what doesn't at all. Now, an important aspect of this is hit zones. Did you realize there's actually 3? Yes, there's the head, there's the body, and then there's the legs. Now, the headshot multiplier is taking the damage that you normally do. Let's say an anvil, 40 damage a shot. Well, this is 40 damage a shot, minus the damage mitigation that affects the actual damage that hits the player based on the shield they're wearing. When I actually land the headshot, we deal more damage than normal. And this varies per weapon. So there is no multiplier when I shoot the body. There is a multiplier when I shoot the head. But you actually deal less damage when you shoot the legs than if you were shooting the body, and certainly the head. Now, another caveat to this is how stats definitely do matter, but they don't mean everything. The weapon feel, the ability to accurately land the headshots is very important. And arpeggio has one of the fastest times to kill if you actually hit all headshots, but they're spread when you fire those 3 shots during each burst. Are you really hitting all headshots every time? Then there's things like its relevance at close and medium ranges versus inaccuracy at long ranges, and playstyles, like, a toro shotgun, and having that forced downtime between each shot, so you roll or jump or slide in between. Let's start with your level 1 weapon with no mods as a category, starting with what the best option for that would be for killing arc specifically. The best weapon with no mods at level 1 for killing arc is definitely the equalizer, because once you craft this thing, that's it. There is no upgrading, there are no mod slots. Ultimately, you're getting 8 damage a tick, you got 50 shots per reload, you've got unbelievable range, you've got extremely strong arc penetration, so it's ultimately incredible at stripping off the armor and revealing the weak spots of an arc. Did you know that if you're shooting a weak point of an arc, there's a special VFX where sparks come out and a special sound plays? You will hear this when you shoot the core of an arc, or even the special yellow locations like the joints of a queen, matriarch, or bastion bombardier. The equalizer, its raw damage isn't as good as other weapons when we talk about hitting a multiplier damage weak zone. So you reveal the core or the weak zone, and then you do optimal damage with a different weapon. But the equalizer itself is still going to be phenomenal for accurately shooting a core through the little gaps of a queen or whatever. And while this is true, it doesn't really go with the spirit of this video, does it? But it requires that acknowledgement. Really, in my opinion, the level 1 no mods out the box best weapon for killing arc is gonna be your ferro, due to it having strong arc armor penetration, heavy ammo, 40 damage a shot, and I can unironically say that I've killed big arc with a level 1 ferro, whether that's something simple like a leaper or a bastion, or something a bit more interesting like a queen and matriarch. If you want queen and matriarch parts as efficiently as possible, as budget as possible, the ferro level 1 will literally do what you need it to, by focusing fire into a leg part until eventually it falls off, and then if someone has aggro or just fully de-aggro the queen or matriarch, you run in and pick up the loot. This is comically cheap for minimal ammo, and what's upgrading the ferro gonna do? It's gonna give you a faster reload, cutting down that reload time by almost half. That's undeniably good and will help you do what we've just described faster. But it doesn't make it do more damage, it doesn't make it more accurate. So a level 1 ferro is incredibly good for this purpose. Next up, let's talk about level 1 out the box, no mods for PvP. In my opinion, there's quite a few weapons that fit this category really well. So let's just address the obvious one, the ferro again. When not upgraded, you've got longer reload times, which is a problem. So when it comes to even your base level 1 ferro, it's going to take 2 headshots to fully kill a player if they've got a light or medium shield, which is what you're seeing most of the time. If the only weapon you have is the ferro, then of course, you can do the reload if the distance allows, or you can do a quick melee swap and finish them off, which is surprisingly effective and fun if you're running around with a free kit doing PvP. But of course, you'd rather swap to a different gun, land the first headshot, or even body shot, start the swap to the next gun, roll so you're hard to hit while you make that swap, and then finish them off. Or you could do vice versa, shooting them with the other gun and finishing them with the ferro. So even a level 1 ferro with no attachments is an incredibly versatile and useful thing for PvP. But we can also agree that the Toro is an incredible level 1 tool. What happens when you upgrade the Toro? You get increased fire rate and magazine size, which doesn't matter when you're going to 2-shot people or probably on average 3-shot people. And upgrades matter less for this because you're getting increased magazine size, the 2 to 3 shots, that doesn't affect it at all. The increased fire rate is undeniably good though, because you're able to fire a lot sooner with a level 4 Toro like this one. But a level 1 Toro, for the sake of survivability during a fight, yeah, you have the longer pump time before you can fire again. But this encourages a fun and effective playstyle. So you hit the slide, you roll, and we're back up, and roll, we're back up. You know, we're ready to fire every single time. But admittedly, a level 4 Toro can actually start trading just toe-to-toe with people, kind of like a vulcano. But with the roll and slide between pumps being encouraged with a low-level Toro, out the box level 1, no attachments is fantastic. Another top tier choice for a level 1 weapon out the box without these attachments is of course the torrent. When you upgrade it, you get increased magazine size and improved reload speed. These two things do not matter at all in the context of PvP where you're up close on someone, when you're trying to kill them in that initial spray. You can also greatly reduce the recoil either way by simply crouching. So if someone isn't paying attention to you at medium or closer ranges, you're able to crouch and accurately fire into them. Or you try to swing on them to accurately blast them at close range, and the time to kill is impressive. Because the time to kill doesn't change with the torrent, whether you upgrade it or not. With body shots, it's 1 second or slightly higher than that with light and medium shields. And if you're headshotting, you cut into that by nearly half or a third. So it's fair to say 1 second or less with a torrent level 1 is a very reliable thing that will happen in PvP. Lastly, for level 1 out of the box good, it's a kettle. What do you get when you upgrade a kettle? It's increased bullet velocity, a lot of it, and big reduction on the reload time. Admittedly, that reload time, that bullet speed is important, but it's the same time to kill on players with or without those upgrades because it doesn't affect that. You just have to be wary of the lower bullet velocity at longer ranges and obviously the longer reload at closer ranges. With a time to kill of 1.5 seconds against medium shields, it's not that good. But if you headshot exclusively, you cut that down by literally half. 0.75 seconds to kill against a medium shield with headshots. So you've got 7 headshots to get out, spam clicking on the target. The kettle does not have a lot of recoil, even without attachments. And if you're fighting someone close range, it's very easy to shoot their head while they try to ADS kill you, letting you kind of monkey trade with them. So my favorite weapon to find that I've loaded in with a free loadout for PvP is the kettle. Now lastly, for level 1, we got to talk about what happens when you give them mods and how I'd rank that. There isn't a meaningful change when it comes to killing arc for weapons, but there is when it comes to PvP. As we highlighted, the torrente, even level 1, is super good and attachments matter for this weapon a lot more than the upgrade. Yeah, the magazine size nice, the reload time's nice, but we want to mag dump someone and kill them. You can effectively get that increase of magazine size from just the extended mag. You can massively cut into the recoil or dispersion via the muzzle mod. And lastly, your stock just helps you reset after finishing firing, but if you do have an epic like this, you make it a hip firing monster, letting you slide up to targets and destroy them. This would be my favorite choice for a level 1 plus mods. But another option that goes super well for that would just be the Toro, like we said. A level 1 would have less fire rate and smaller magazine size, but we want to make sure we're 2-tapping people by giving a choke, even just a basic one, and a mag just to help us fire for longer if we need it. But mainly you want to 2 or 3 shot kill people, and between that, you're rolling anyway, so the fire rate doesn't matter. But now we move up to level 4 where things are going to get a little bit silly, a little bit interesting. What is the best level 4 weapon with no mods for both Arc and PvP? In my opinion, it's the same weapon. It's the Anvil level 4 ideally, because this weapon does not need attachments to function insanely well. It doesn't matter what way you look at it, this is going to deal 40 damage a shot before any mitigation. And then you can over double that with a headshot, right? The problem with a ferro is the long pauses between shots. But when it comes to an Anvil level 4, it's so much faster because of the fire rate improvements. That's how quick it takes to kill someone. So as we upgrade it, we get 75% increased fire rate overall, and very importantly, nearly 20% reduced dispersion recovery time. This is important because as they increase the fire rate, we need to be able to accurately get back to firing again before the end of the next recovery time. So this is a pretty tight spread, as I just just do it quickly there. Meanwhile, with a level 1 anvil, you know, it takes a lot longer for me to get back on target. Now, admittedly, it's easier for me to be, like, tighter in the spread and accuracy because I've got a lot longer to aim before it'll let me fire again. So I think upgrading an anvil is incredibly efficient and effective. It doesn't really benefit from quite a lot of different muzzle mods, and it has this special tech slot for the anvil splitter, and that's it. This is why I like to run something like an extended barrel or a suppressor. Extended barrel will slightly increase the recoil, sure, but there's that like recovery time between shots, so it doesn't matter. But then it gives velocity to the shot, which basically means it's got more stopping power against your flying arc, like the Aphelion. This has incredible stopping power against flying arcs, sending rocketeers flipping around when you shoot them. Super satisfying. You get a baby version of that by putting the extended barrel on the anvil. Then you've got a suppressor, which basically just makes it quieter when you fire, which is really nice. Don't get me wrong, you could put a compensator or whatever, a muzzle brake on it, but it's just not going to be as impactful on the anvil compared to many other weapons benefiting from that same slot. So an unmodded yet fully upgraded anvil is incredibly effective for killing arc because it's heavy ammo, which is going to strip the armor off of targets, letting you completely solo a rocketeer with an anvil incredibly effectively, farming your queen matriarch parts even better than a ferro, effective DPS against the weak zone of an arc that you're targeting, accurate and effective stripping of armor and then hitting those joints to disable a bastion, easy taking down of your basic flyers, whether it's a snitch or, you know, hornet, wasp, whatever. We can all agree an anvil feels like a great tool to have in your hands against any arc. But in PvP, at close range, medium range, long range, being able to 2-headshot someone and kill them is amazing. And you don't need mods to do this. Just upgrade the weapon and it performs so much better. If I had to pick something else, then I would say the kettle. Without any mods, what you're getting with a level 4 kettle is that increased bullet velocity and reduced reload time. As we said earlier, you're going to need 7 shots into the head to actually kill someone, even a medium shield. So to accurately headshot someone with no mods, as you can see, isn't that hard. What the mods are going to do is help that accuracy be more reliable and let you fire for longer, obviously with the mag. And these are the slots you would first mod. So yeah, the upgrades give you increased bullet velocity and helping those reload issues. As I said before, a level 1 kettle can have a 0.63 seconds kill time if we're just headshotting against a light shield, or 0.75 against a medium. You just make this more consistent, easier to happen by upgrading it. And you know, the punishment of reloading is a lot less. I find kettle pulls it out the bag for me more than a sticher does. But now, what about level 4 weapons plus mods? What are the best options for Arc and PvP? Starting with Arc, we have, of course, the Renegade level 4. Everyone is talking about this right now, and for good reason. You're able to accurately fire with a very short sort of period between shots with the lever action firing mode into a target. This allows you to target turbines really effectively, the weak joints of a special target like bastion, bombardier, queen, or matriarch, or ideally the core of these things for the biggest damage multiplier. If you don't want to run a hullcracker where you're using tons of ammo that's super costly, then using a weapon to reveal a weak zone and then firing into it with the Renegade level 4 is like the optimal thing you can do. As you upgrade it, you get this insane 75% increased fire rate once level 4. On top of that, you have the reduced dispersion recovery time just to help it be accurate fire. This is then massively affected by a stock. So let's just take a level 4 Renegade and just fire like crazy. I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving my hand or mouse at all. This is what the recoil and dispersion looks like. It's crawling up sideways and quite vertically. Then you grab the stock and put it on and see how much this actually affects things. I'm not moving my hand. All I'm doing is firing. As you can see, it's moving up a lot slower. And it's actually interestingly quite stable after we get the first few shots out. Even there, you see how quickly it returns to the center point. It's a major difference, so for the Renegade, it's undeniable. Mods make an incredible impact. And the thing that's going to make the most impact is actually the stock. Your magazine is just going to mean you can fire for longer, which is nice, and there are some values to the different muzzle mods that exist. I actually really like the silencer for the purpose of dealing with arc quietly. If I'm trying to kill arc really effectively, I don't want anyone to come over and mess with me. so a silencer is actually my top choice. As we mentioned though, another mod does exist, the extended barrel. This gives you that 25% increased bullet velocity, but at the cost of vertical recoil. Since there is a bit of a pause between shots, I'm able to control that very effectively, as you can see. But now I have that bullet velocity, which is going to have more impact on your flying arc, your snitches, your hornets, wasps, and of course the rocketeers, to give them more stopping power, having a harder time getting to you. Actually really nice for killing rocketeers. But interestingly, it's the slot that matters the least. Overall, the most important and impactful thing is the stock. And as it is the DPS killer when upgraded thanks to the fire rate increase, the number one choice for attacking weak zones, if you're not firing literally hullcracker rounds into it, and yet it remains an incredibly reliable tool in PvP too. Whether they're close, medium, or far, I absolutely love when I've got this thing in my hands. It just doesn't even need that much modding to feel that good too, as you can see. When it comes to PvP, we all know what I'm about to say. It's the Venator 4, but it does benefit a lot from mods. Let's take the recoil here and take a look at it. This is a close to medium range. I'm going to spam fire and watch as it crawls up the wall pretty fast and then stops at a certain point going up and left and right. Let's carefully move to the side and not do anything, but reload and put those mods back on. So we reduced the vertical and horizontal recoil with the mod that I just put on, and so I'm going to spam fire and not do anything else. You can see that it's going to crawl at a slower rate and it caps out at the top at a lower point. So it definitely benefits from vertical recoil adjustment from the mod, but also horizontal. So either or is going to be a good choice. Then for this one, you want to fire as long as possible, so an extended mag is a big deal, with no downside other than the weight that it adds. This gives us 12 extra shots, getting us up to 22 before we have to reload. You can wipe a full team completely on your own with that. And this is the nerfed Venator that now has less fire rate than it used to. But you want to be headshotting with a Venator. A Venator level 4 with headshots only is going to take 0.57 seconds to kill a light shield, or 0.67 to kill a medium shield. So before the nerf, it was like 0.4 something. We're still roughly at half a second to kill with headshots. And you don't need to headshot them many times either. So it's still a really reliable weapon against arc because it's medium ammo, and you're able to mag dump really quick. But it's the ultimate PvP weapon still post-nerf with unbelievably fast headshot spam time to kill. It's really efficient with the ammo because you get to fire twice per single shot, which is strange. And with mag increases, you can fire for a good while, completely soloing teams in a single mag. But it definitely benefits from vertical or horizontal recoil help and that increased mag, which is why it's here for the mods for PvP. As a quick shout out though, I'd like to acknowledge the arpeggio. A level 4 with mods, this addresses its weapons issues. Accuracy and fire rate problems get resolved. The arpeggio has a comical 0.25 seconds to kill when fully upgraded if you're blasting all that burst into the head. That's both light and medium shields by the way, so lots of potential. It's just, without all that investment, the potential is nowhere near as good or consistent. Bullet 2 and 3 of the 3 bullet burst will simply not go where bullet 1 did. And then even with all the investment of mods, it's still gonna spread. So while the crazy time to kill potential is insane, the reality is that's never really gonna happen unless you pull down in the correct way at a very close range. But the potential is there and you can do it. Another shout out to the Sticher and Kettle when fully upgraded and with the common mods, basically no recoil, making them incredibly reliable and effective weapons, especially when it comes to time to kill with headshots. But I do want to acknowledge the Sticher with the kinetic converter stock mod specifically, giving it 15% fire rate, but giving it more recoil. This turns it into, in my opinion, a better bobcat with its slightly higher damage per shot. And so when I rarely have one of these kinetic stocks, I do want to run it on a Sticher, though it will work on things like Vulcano for stat checking and mag dumping. But then also, I mentioned the Kettle there, competing with the Venator. A Venator level 4 plus the mods is super good, but getting a Kettle or a Sticher to level 4 costs basically nothing, and you could put uncommon grey mods on it to basically get rid of all recoil. You don't even have to use a stock. That's why I call the Kettle the budget Venator. Lastly, quick acknowledgement of the Vulcano, Tempest, and Bobcat when fully upgraded and modded become beastly weapons. The Vulcano, a stat-checking close-range machine. The Tempest, a medium-range incredible tool that's versatile and will work at close and longer ranges. And finally, the Bobcat, which is a mag dump stat check much like the Vulcano, but when fully upgraded and modded, these things become more reliable, addressing their recoil problems with the Tempest and Bobcat, or even mag size increases for longer mag dumping with a vulcano. But God, are we talking a lot of investment for something that competes with a sticher and kettle? So once again, I think the uncommon grey weapons do a bit too much compared to, say, your expensive, rare, purple epic weapons. But yeah, that about covers it. Lots to discuss there when it comes to upgrading and modding, and I hope this was useful to you. Until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.